Hello, back to the left in the past. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm at Cool Springs Cemetery to visit the graves of Major James Edward Tankersley and his brother Sergeant Carl Tim Tankersley. And as I walk through the graves, I'm going to tell a little history about them and their story. James Edward Tankersley served in the U.S. Air Force from 1959 to 1967 as a captain on 5 6-month duty tours as a B-52 jet bomber pilot, bombing North Vietnam from both Guam and Okinawa. After achieving the rank of Major in 1967, Edward was accepted to and graduated from the U.S. Air Force UH-1F Helicopter Gunship Pilot School. From 1967 to 1970, Edward served 3 duty tours as a UH-1F helicopter gunship pilot in South Vietnam. Carl Tim Tankersley served a tour of duty as a sergeant and as a helicopter door gunner with the U.S. Army in South Vietnam. He survived a helicopter crash with severe injuries and received a Purple Heart. But on May 7, 1970, around 3:45 p.m., a tragic accident took the lives of the two brothers. James and Carl were flying their light private plane when it crashed and burned in a road ditch just 100 yards short of the runway at Dalton Municipal Airport. It's said that the brothers was in the air for about 20 minutes when the crash occurred. Fred Greason, a pilot at the airport and an eyewitness to the crash, explained what happened. Mr. Greason said that the brothers were attempting a touch-and-go landing. As they pulled off the runway, the plane's single engine began to sputter and lose power. James, the pilot, tried to turn the plane back towards the runway, but it crashed into a rural road ditch. The 1949-52 model Navion aircraft had been worked on by the brothers before the flight, and there were no prior indications of trouble. Despite the engine sputtering, the plane was gaining altitude and had turned back towards the runway when it crashed. With the landing gear and flaps down, the plane struggled to develop enough horsepower to stay airborne. The aircraft climbed to about 150 to 200 feet before it began to turn and attempt to return to the runway. The impact folded the plane's engine under and to the left, ripping away one of the landing gears. Mr. Greason rushed to the scene, arriving in less than a minute to find the engine compartment and cabin engulfed in flames. The Dalton Fire Department quickly extinguished the flames, preventing a potential explosion. Fire Chief Luther Broom, Assistant Chief J.W. Wiggins, and firemen Frank Collins, Gary Black, and Gary Locke responded to the call. Sergeant Herb Turner of the Georgia State Patrol helped keep spectators away from the scene. The charred bodies of James and Carl Tankersley were removed from the wreckage about 45 minutes after the crash. And like I mentioned before, James Tankersley was a major in the Air Force, a command pilot on a B-52, and a helicopter pilot in Vietnam. Carl Tim Tankersley was a sergeant in the U.S. Army, stationed at Fort Rucker, Alabama, also a veteran of Vietnam. And this is their grave. James Edward Tankersley, Georgia, Major U.S. Air Force, Korea and Vietnam, October 7, 1935 to May 7, 1970, age 34. Carl Tim Tankersley, Georgia, Specialist 5, 53rd Aviation Battalion, Vietnam, June 15, 1949 to May 7, 1970, age 20. And their stone reads, "Sacrifices of every generation makes more precious our heritage as Americans." And this is their parents, George and Eva. George Kermit Tankersley, May 17, 1909 to August 6, 1997, age 88. And Eva May Winkler Tankersley, March 20th, 1914 to February 27th, 1998, age 84. May they all rest in paradise. And now I'm going to show y'all Dalton Airport where they passed away. And I'm just going to do a little drive-by video of the Dalton Airport, and I cut the audio because the original audio sounds like this. And I don't really want y'all to have to hear that the whole entire time. And the buildings that we're passing right now are the hangars for the different planes. Okay, that's me all for today, guys. I hope you did enjoy that video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. Also, subscribe down below if you haven't already, because it's free and it helps me a whole lot. So definitely do that if you haven't already. I hope y'all did enjoy that video and the story. It was a pretty sad story just to read about how they passed away and the plane crash. But I thought it was awesome how Edward was a pilot in the Air Force and the different planes and helicopters that he flew. I just think that's very, very awesome. And I just thank them so much for their service. But I hope y'all did enjoy this video. With all that said, I hope y'all have a great day, but this adventure is left in the past.